Halifax police have put out a warning to the city's gay men. Some people are using online dating sites to set them up for robbery.
The robbers are taking advantage of the anonymity of the internet and those who cruise for sex. We have several stories for you, starting with the most recent robberies. Here's what happened.
Just after New Year's, a man was robbed in this parking lot at Point Pleasant Park. Just 4 days later, another robbery happened blocks away. The victims were lured on the online dating site plentyoffish.com. When they arrived, several men approached them and took their money. The police believe these two robberies are connected.
The victim in both cases picked up a person and then was directed to another location where they were approached by other men and then robbed. The description is similar, as are the facts in the case, and we believe they are linked together.
There were no injuries in both cases.
The victims in both cases cooperated with the assailants, which is something we would recommend, and that's a large reason why we believe nobody was hurt. And certainly we commend them for cooperating so that nobody does get hurt.
The police continue to follow their leads, but no one has been arrested yet. For the facts, I'm Stephanie Directo. In the gay community, meeting men for sex in isolated public spaces is called cruising. This usually happens at sundown.
Cruising can also happen online. We spoke with several cruisers and community members about the two robberies and cruising culture. James is not his real name. He thinks people who find trouble when cruising online or in public should know better. He used to be an avid cruiser in Halifax.
Cruising for sex in general is that it is a completely silent activity. There aren't people laughing, there aren't people telling jokes, there aren't people hooting at each other.
James used to meet men at a North End tavern.
I put up a reasonably well-written profile on Plenty of Fish, and anyone that replied, I said, let's have a beer. And we came right here to this booth.
He also cruised on Citadel Hill.
Back in the 80s, people would get beaten up there every now and then. Not muggings, because people were homophobic. And so you would get a bunch of young guys, and they'd go up on Citadel Hill, and the goal would be to beat up queer.
Citadel Hill is one of the main cruising spots in Halifax. When the gates close at night, gay men drive up on the hill, park their cars, and start walking in, looking for sex. And so do people looking for trouble.
We encountered resistance and threats of violence from bashers. I still remember very clearly that white van with the young kids all jumping up with baseball bats looking at us, and trying to attack us for being up there.
Duma Young used to be a counselor. He helped cruisers and sex workers stay safe.
Often their first interaction with the gay and lesbian community in Halifax is in the cruising areas, and then from there on they make other connections to other folks.
Cruising for anonymous sex in dark public places will never be safe, even online. To quote one cruiser, you wouldn't accept a stranger's note to meet you in a dark alley. The same applies online. For the facts, I'm Justin Mahoney.
We spoke to several cruisers who didn't want to appear on camera, even anonymously. Most cruisers we met were family men, professionals, or in the closet. One said he's seen an increase in police harassment in recent years while cruising.
However, the police say that they treat everyone equally. One cruiser mentioned that he felt safer cruising in the 80s. Back in the day, there were more cruisers, so there was safety in numbers. Today, groups of cruisers are smaller and more isolated.
This is because many people choose to cruise online, but one of the cruisers I spoke to told me he prefers to meet men in person instead of the web. That way he can see the person and drive away if he chooses. Online, you don't really know who you're meeting.
Bottom line, cruising isn't against the law, but having sex in public is. So is targeting and harassing cruisers. For the facts, I'm Justin Mahoney.
And I'm Stephanie Directo.